Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq, coming to you live from the Singapore Fintech Festival. Joining me for this segment, we have Eric Turner, Chief Revenue Officer over at Messari, to discuss the role of Asia in the digital asset space. We'll also discuss some exciting news out of Messari and its relationship to Asia. It is great to have you with us, Eric. Welcome back to TradeTalks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Before we get into Messari's announcement and its role in Asia, how do you see the region as it relates to the growth of digital assets?
Yeah, so I mean, when you think about digital assets, you always have to think about Asia. I think it's always been a driving force in this industry, going back more than a decade now. And I think, more than ever, we're seeing a lot of embrace from governments and regulators. You look at Hong Kong, you look at Singapore. I think of a lot of these jurisdictions want to bring digital assets, businesses, into their country. So I think it's certainly been an important part of digital assets, and I think it's continuing to grow a lot.
Yes, particularly that there's regulatory framework
Yes.
here as well. Certainly we know that in Singapore, and you had a big announcement this morning with Messari that you have an official entity here now in Asia.
Yes, so we launched our entity here in Singapore today. We announced it, and we did a lot of research. We looked around the Asia region and kind of figured where would be a good home for Messari. We are a market intelligence platform. We really focused on helping sophisticated investors and organizations and financial institutions enter the crypto space and make smarter decisions. So we looked at various jurisdictions, and I think Singapore was the one where the forward-thinking way that regulation has been built here was very attractive for us.
Yeah. You mentioned other regions. Are there other regions that you see that do have potential or do have a framework in place outside of Singapore?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see a combination of things here in Asia. You certainly see just the importance of the region for digital assets when it comes to building products, when it comes to investing, when it comes to family offices and hedge funds. You also see a lot of adoptions, especially here in Southeast Asia, of cryptocurrencies and digital assets. So, I think between Singapore and Hong Kong and some of these regions, regulators are really thinking of how do they bring responsible innovation into their countries, and again, how do they attract businesses that are going to build this next wave of technology?
So what's next for Messari, if you could give us some insight as it relates to the region here?
Yeah, so we continue to build our team. We're continuing to build out our presence for engineering and research and business, and we look at Asia as one of the fastest growing markets right now for digital assets. So, we are looking at how we can help our partners onboard into the industry, start to build new products, and really embrace the permissionlessness of digital assets.
Yeah. All right, Eric, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me from the Singapore Fintech Festival. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.